With 3 weeks in the season already in the books, as we gear up for week 4, for anything like me, you are looking for any and all opportunities to fine tune and improve your rosters. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 players that are actually great candidates to actually trade for that will help your chances to be successful in 2025. The first player that we are going to be going over is going to be Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver from the Indianapolis Colts. Now, if you've been following this account for a while, I have been a huge fan of Michael Pittman Jr. since he came into the league out of USC, but he's actually been having a great season thus far, currently sitting as the wide receiver 12 in total points and has been a solid wide receiver 1 for the Colts as well. His targets have been absolutely amazing. He's actually had 29 targets through 3 games, averaging 7.25 per game. His snap count has been amazing, also at 85%, and the opportunity share also very strong at 26%. He's been wide receiver 1 in QB rating per target, which means that Daniel Jones has found success whenever targeting Michael Pittman's way. He also has been the wide receiver 6 in fantasy points per target, and when you look at the snap counts here for the Indianapolis Colts, you can see that it's been the Michael Pittman show. Has led the way in 2 of the 3 games. The one outlier was week 2, but he's been consistently 80% plus when it comes to snap count percentage for the Indianapolis Colts. And quite frankly, what actually makes him even more valuable is the upcoming schedule. So he's already had some tough matchups there with Denver and even with the Titans, but even despite of all that, he's still been very efficient. However, with the next 5 games, he has the Los Angeles Rams, who are bottom half defense versus wide receivers. Las Vegas also is a bottom 5 defense in that same category. Arizona bottom 10. Then you have also one tough matchup there with the Chargers, and then you have another one with the Titans, who are a bottom 6 defense versus opposing wide receivers. So not only do you have a favorable schedule, but someone that is really showcasing some really strong value early on and could be a great buy candidate for your fantasy roster. Now the next one's going to be running back Josh Jacobs. Now he's not really much of a buy low because he's been really doing bad. He's still been really solid for fantasy. Obviously you still want a little bit more from him, but what really is making him elite, in my opinion, has been his usage and his opportunities. You can see here that he has had 58 carries through 3 games, which is 19 carries per game. And what's been a little bit abysmal has been his yards per touch, where he's ranked RB 46 in this category by averaging 3.6 yards per touch through 3 games. But what keeps you encouraged has been his snap count. No one in this Green Bay offense is anywhere near this snap count. He's currently at 76.3%, and he's gotten also 70% of the backfield touches, and has also been the RB4 in red zone touches. So he's getting the looks, he's getting a lot of playing time, and he's also getting the looks in the red zone, which are things that we're always looking for in fantasy. And we're going to also look at the upcoming matchup. The upcoming matchup is going to be very favorable. They have the Cowboys in week 1, the Packers do, and then he'll be having a tough matchup in week 5 versus the Colts. But then even then in week 6, he's going to go up against the Broncos, who are going to be a positive game script for running backs. And then same thing with the Chiefs, who are more of a neutral defense when it comes to running backs. But the point is, Josh Jacobs right now has a window that you can potentially buy at his lowest value, so that way you can help bolster up your roster and improve your running back position. Let's go over another player here, and that's going to be Drake London. He was someone that I'm really high on and still am, and very similar to that of Josh Jacobs is because of the opportunities that he has been given. So despite the slow inefficiencies that he has seen through 3 weeks, you gotta love the opportunities that he's getting. Currently, he is averaging 9 targets per game, and despite those early targets, he's only been the wide receiver 44. However, when you deep dive a little bit further into some of these key metrics, you can see that he's 8th in targets among all wide receivers. He's the wide receiver 2 in first read targets, and also the opportunity share is very strong at 23% for the Atlanta Falcons. And I understand that the connection with Michael Penix hasn't been there, but the point is he's getting all the looks that you would like to see a wide receiver 1 get, and you have to imagine that the schedule is going to open up a little bit more. You have the Commanders in week 4, you have the Vikings as well as the Bears, all plus matchups versus opposing wide receivers. I can see Drake London having a get-right game in week 4, and with that, the call to action for you would be try your best to put an offer there to get Drake London, because this may be the only window that he would be at a pretty quote-unquote cheap cost for your fantasy rosters as well. We have 2 more players to go over, but before we do so, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers here on the channel. And what's crazy is most people that are watching aren't already subscribed. So do me a solid. If you're getting value, hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. Let's go over these last 2 players. And this next player is going to be Alvin Kamara, running back from the New Orleans Saints. He has been the running back 22 through 3 games, and a lot of it has been a very inefficient start. He's only averaging 3.7 yards per carry, his lowest mark since 2021. We knew with Kellen Moore we will see a much faster pace offense, which we have through 3 games. But what keeps me intrigued is the utilization of how they're going about using Alvin Kamara. If you look over here, and he is actually 6th among all running backs in snap share. He's also 4th in route runs, and I know it hasn't equated too much just yet. When you even look at how he's been utilized compared to the rest of the running back room here, you can see that the snap counts aren't even remotely close. In week 1, he saw a percentage of 79%. Week 2, it was 86%. In week 3, 74%, with no one being anywhere near that. So you know that the touches are going to be going his way, and with that kind of volume, you can expect a very solid floor that will make him very valuable. And when you look at the upcoming matchup versus the Buffalo Bills have actually allowed the most rushing yards per game to opposing running backs. They've also allowed the highest explosive run rate, and have also allowed the 5th most yards after contact per attempt. So this is going to be a very juicy matchup for Alvin Kamara to get right. And also week 5 versus the Giants, they've allowed the 4th most points to opposing running backs, as well as the New England Patriots, who are a bottom 12 team versus opposing RBs as well. So the schedule is going to be favorable. I expect that with the volume that he's going to be getting, there's going to be some good opportunities for him to bounce back and be a very solid player for you at the running back position in fantasy. And this next guy has been a complete shock. That's going to be Daniel Jones, quarterback out of the Indianapolis Colts. Through 3 games, he's been the QB4. You know what's crazy too? He did that with 2 tough matchups versus the Denver Broncos and the Titans, who are both top 6 defenses versus opposing quarterbacks. And Daniel Jones has been solid. And you can truly see here that Shane Steichen has unlocked Daniel Jones. And I guess it's that trend of you play 1 year with Kevin O'Connell and then you just start blossoming rather. And we're seeing that same success hopefully with Carson Wentz, who has been doing really well for the Vikings. But I digress. The point is, we're seeing here that Daniel Jones thus far through 3 games has been the quarterback 2 in yards per attempt. He's been the QB5 in true passer rating, and he's been the QB1 in expected points added, EPA. And with the upcoming matchups that he has, I'm almost not worried. I almost feel like he is a plug and play every single week. I mean, versus the Rams are going to be a very tougher matchup, but he had 2 tough matchups back-to-back weeks, and he was still relatively fine. And in week 5, he's going to see the Raiders, who are in the middle of the pack. And then he has a very juicy matchup in week 6, where he's going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who allow the 6th most points to opposing quarterbacks on a points per game basis. So Daniel Jones, for me, is now someone that I'm going to be targeting not only in redraft, but also in Dynasty. And if that even means maybe a 2nd round pick in a team that, you know, you are even rebuilding, I mean, I wouldn't look at you sideways if you were looking to make the move to get Daniel Jones. And I know he may not be a buy low candidate, but someone that is a buy now candidate, because I believe that the matchups are going to get better, and with that could be a solid start for you, considering that we have seen some really disappointing starts to a few quarterbacks, including Bo Nix and CJ Stroud. But all right, guys, hey, thank you so much for making it to the very end of the video. It means all the world to me. Once again, we are inching close to 1,000 subscribers here on the channel, so if you can do me a huge solid, hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. Best of luck to you in week 4. We will see you next week with our waiver wire episode, but in the meantime, take care. God bless. Peace.